at the next assignment for using switch statements in our JavaScript. So this exercise is where we're going to take a drop-down list, and based on what the user selects in that list, we're going to change the foreground color and the background color of the content. So, so we take a look at this example. Has some background info here. So it is saying that we need to add a switch statement underneath the commented section that says add switch. So this is another exercise where we're actually going to do the coding here on the MDN website here in the editable code box, and then we'll see our changes up here when we leave that box. So we're not really downloading anything. Once you're complete, you're going to copy this finished code out and then paste that in to submit it for the assignment. So just to get an idea of what we're looking at here, this should accept a choice variable as its input expression. And so what that means is we are looking at a constant here called choice, and it's set to be equal to the select value. So if we look up here, we've declared our constant for select as the query selector for the select tag in the HTML here. And so that's what this is. This is your select dropdown. Then the next thing it says it wants to declare is the HTML, and it's going to select the output class. And that's going to be somewhere in this part of the page here where the output happens on the front end. So what's already built here is it says select.onChange. So onChange is also a built-in function with JavaScript, and we're going to assign it to an anonymous variable, or sorry, anonymous function. So this function here has no name, and the function starts at that curly brace and ends here. So the first thing that happens in that function is we're going to declare a constant for the word choice, and we're going to set it equal to whatever value the user selects up here. So as soon as I select one of those, it's going to save the value of white or black or purple or yellow or psychedelic. So the next part of the function here is for us to write a switch statement. So if you don't remember how to write a switch statement, or you didn't read through this page on MDN, which is linked to from the assignment, about 3/4 of the way down, it goes through some options here. So we can do an if statement here. So if choice equals something, do this. Else if choice equals the next thing, do this. So we could write this like this example here, where it says if choice is sunny, do this. Else if rainy, do this. Else if snowy, do this. So there's no bad reason to not just use if-else statements, other than the fact that it can be a little bit complex to write accurately. It's kind of error prone sometimes. So we can do the same sort of logic within a switch statement. So they as they explain here, if else is good for cases when you only have a couple of choices and each one requires a good amount of code to run, or the conditions are complex. So for situations where we just want to change a variable to a certain choice or print out a certain text, switch is actually a little bit better, because it just takes one value as an input, and then it runs through all the possible options and then outputs the result. So what we're going to do in our example here is take that choice and then write some switch statements. So switch starts out with an expression or a condition. So we're going to say switch parentheses curly braces. So this makes sure that that whole statement is going to be closed the correct way. And what we will then do is look for the choices. So what we will grab as an input is the choice constant from here. So that's going to read white, black, yellow, etc. So then we define each case. And we do that by actually writing the word case, and we put in the value for that particular case. So our value here, I'm going to look back up at our list here. First one's going to be white. So we'll say white. And we follow that with a colon, and then we have the code that we want to run. So in order to run this, what we're going to do is pass white to this function below that's already written that says update. So it wants a background color and a text color. So the logic that it's going to run will be update and parentheses. So it's going to take two inputs, so I'm going to take those. And when I select white, we're going to set the background color to white and the foreground color to black. So that's one case. So what we also want to do then is, after that case has been met, we add a break command here. So each case will look like this. So we're going to say white, and then we'll say black. And so in this one, I want the black to be the background and the foreground to be white. And what are our other choices here? White, black, purple, yellow, psychedelic. So white, black, purple, yellow, and psychedelic. So when it's black background, white text. When it's a purple black background, I want yellow. Oh, what happened here? There. When it's a yellow black background, I'm going to say black text, and then psychedelic, we're going to be wild here and say pink and green. So this curly brace ends our switch statements here. And now, once we click out of the editable code box, we should be able to test this. So I have found that sometimes it takes a second to take these inputs and make them work. Let's take a look and see if I'm missing any syntax here. Could be my cases are not written correctly. So let's take a look at that syntax here. So our case for the switch should be in single quotes, and then what we want it to output and our break. So choice, case of white, black, purple. So in this instance, we may need to double check our code here, just make sure that's closed. And I'm going to just try one more time. Okay, so let's take a look at our final code here. And we start out with our switch, choice, and then our first case. So let me double check the order we have here. So we've got white, then black, white, and case, single quotes, white, single quotes, colon, update. I see what I missed. I forgot I moved down my closing statements there. So let's try one more thing here. And no luck there. So let's continue looking through. So the function that we're running is called update, and it wants background color and a text color. So all of those values should be in single quotes. And then let's just double check that we've got single quotes there, a break after each one, case, update, break, case, update, break, case, update, break. And everything is inside of our function there. So something is not working great here. So I'm going to take this section of code. Oh, I see. We are missing one more. Oh, no, we're not. There's our curly braces there. So that should be our switch. That should be our function closing. So I'm going to copy this for a second and reset. And just add that one more time in there. So we got our two statements closed. And I'll try here one more time. There we go. So this live editor and preview is a little bit glitchy sometimes, but overall works pretty well. So either one thing I did do is I hit escape. So sometimes clicking out of the box doesn't actually make it read the code. So that should be the end of that. So again, the main reasons we want to look at using switch is that they're going to be better used for single values that it's going to evaluate against a list of options that we can have it output on the page. And so don't forget, when we're doing this, in your switch statements that you're writing, some of the commands you can put in for each case, you could actually put in your console logging here and have it output whatever message it is that shows that this case actually worked. All right, so that wraps that one up.